Okay, guys, Speed Fury here. I'm back, and I now have all the pictures that are better, the good ones that I've done. So we'll start with another picture of Speed Fury. He doesn't. He's. By the way, these characters have the ability to hide their wings, their tails and horns if they need to. So here is my character. So here's Speed Fury without his wings, tail, and horns. And yeah, I forgot to color his sword in all the way. Um, the sword should be black on the handle and the hilt and the blade where it's white. So then we move on to, let me just put this over here. So there is Speed Fury with his battle armor on, like his actual battle armor, which I did inspire it partially from Tron, but other than that, it's pretty much my own design. So now we get to Speed Fury's first lieutenant. This is Onyx Shade, Master of the Shadows. And his fighting level is on par with Speed Fury. He has the ability to actually disappear and reappear. It's not teleportations. He's actually like splitting his molecular structure up as he's disappearing. He can turn into like a large shadow golem, and he is part alicorn, which is a unicorn with wings. And then we move on to Glacier Quartz, the first of the characters to have two elemental abilities, being Earth and Ice. His hair is made of ice, his wings are made out of crystal, and he has his signature weapon are two swords that resemble his marks. The blades do, at least. Like, this is his Earth mark, and then this is his Ice mark. And his tail's like a fusion of both. He's a crystal dragon. Okay, and then we move on to Spray. Now, I know a lot of you are gonna butcher her name and turn into stuff, and I'm not really gonna be able to stop you from doing that. You're probably just gonna do that. And she is a master of water, and she is a hippocampus, which is like a literal water horse, a horse that breathes underwater and stuff, like horse body and everything, just has like a fish tail and everything else. Um, yeah, she has a trident, which is her signature weapon. She calls it the Trident of Poseidon, and I forgot to color it, but it's supposed to be gold. And let's see, next we have Torch. Torch is actually from Japan, and she is a fox. Actually, she's one of the only gladiator masters who actually is a real animal instead of a mythical creature. And her power is fire, and I made her color scheme in line with the different colors of fire. So her hair and her tail are blue, so along with her ears. Her shirt is purple. Her jacket and designs on her shirt are red, and she also has orange designs. And her boots have flaming designs on them with black. Her eyes are also purple to resemble purple fire, and her skin is white to resemble the hottest fire, which is of course white fire. Also, she is one of Speed Fury's teammates. Speed Fury, the Glider Master is split up into multiple teams because there's like a whole army of these guys, and I have a bunch of these, but this is only a few of them, or at least 10 of them. Torch is one of Speed Fury's teammates, and then we move on to, this is going to be definitely a fan favorite. This is Scarlet, and she's half demon. I forgot to draw her wings and her horns and her tail, but yeah, she is a demon. And the funny thing about demons in the Glider Masters universe is that they are all female, and the way they reproduce is that they insert their magic liquid, which is toxic, and they shoot it from their tails into this magic device that they designed. But two of them have to do it at once into two different ports on the machine. When doing this, the machine will then create a clone of them, but the clone will always be a different color. And these characters are usually named after their skin color. So Scarlet, as you probably guessed already, is of course red, and she has a rival named Violet. Now this is Violet. Her color scheme is actually reversed to Scarlet. All the characters, all demons have black skin, and she's actually part vampire, is what Violet is. So instead of her skin being red and her eyes being red, her skin is purple and her eyes are purple. And then the extra parts on her armor and stuff is red instead. And so is the highlights in her hair. Now she resents her demons, her vampiric side because, like I said, she has no thirst for blood. She's not exactly evil like her father was. And one more thing, the demons aren't really evil, despite them being demons. They're more along the lines of, well, neutral. Before the Omni Giants all kind of died off, they kind of preferred not to take part in protecting the humans. When the Omni Giants died off, they took part in it and took it upon themselves to protect the humans. Of course, they had to like hide themselves with disguises like Glamour Masters do. Now this is Magenta, and as you can see, she's pretty goth, I guess you could say, despite the bright colors. Um, yeah, she I don't really have much else to say about her. She's not a very unique character. I forgot to finish coloring her tail, too. And then we move on to Amber. Amber is orange, like the name suggests, and she's supposed to be smarter than most demons. And yes, I did draw each character from the same picture being Scarlet. I traced over it and just made the characters different. I call it sketch printing because usually I take a printed picture and then sketch my character over it, and then throw in a few unique designs of my own. This is Cole. And now Cole is a former member of the Demon Royal Guard, and she is actually a very kind-hearted demon. And despite the way she looks, she's a very violent fighter. She uses her claws in place of like an actual weapon in battle. And then we move on to Aquamarine. Now, this one I actually had fun making. Now, for those of you who are fans of a certain game involving ink and squids, you'll notice that her design is very, very much based on a character in that show, and a character in that game. I'll let you tell everyone else in the comments below, because I'm pretty sure you already recognized it right off the bat. And also, she's a gamer, which is why she's based on that certain character. Now we move on to Ash. Ash is well, the colors of Ash is orange, black, and white. So her design's a bit different, being that her skin and her eyes are white, but her irises are black. She's the only one that has more or less human-looking eyes, despite the fact that her pupils are actually white instead of black. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to her. She doesn't have a tail. I forgot to draw her tail. Now we move on to Ivory. Ivory is, well, as the name suggests, she has lightning powers. They all have different powers depending on their abilities, depending on their skin color. Ivory is a tomboy, pretty much, and she doesn't like to be looked at as a girl, to be honest. She would rather be seen fighting alongside the guys because, she wants to be seen as a fighter, as a warrior, not as a girl. And then we move on to my character's girlfriend. Now I'm not showing this character in the picture yet, but I want you to tell me in the comments, what's the first character that comes to mind when you see this? And Stuart, if you're watching this, no, that does not include you. You've seen this character multiple times. If you guys don't know who Stuart is, he's my best friend. Anyway, allow me to introduce you to Rainbow Shock. Rainbow Shock. Originally, my series was meant to be a fan series back when I was still a brony, which I'm not a brony anymore. After the show ended, I just left the brony community and went full-on weeb. So Rainbow Shock was actually Rainbow Dash at the time, but I changed her design entirely, gave her a new name, well, sort of, and gave her a new personality. Instead of being the sporty type, she's a psycho, a big psycho. She's also a yandere, so, and instead of a knife, and I know that most yanderes are like given a knife for like their weapon they used, or a sword. Yeah, she has a jet engine powered warhammer, and that she can just swing around with one hand. And she is actually half Pegasus. Oh, and also one more thing. I know how there's like that whole war going on between Lost Paws and Silvervale. between fox girls and wolf girls and which one's better. Yeah, to me, I say Pegasus girls are better. Bite me. So this is actually her new design, the one I gave her. She has like arm sleeves and like a turtleneck crop top, and her shorts are a bit longer. That's pretty much it. The rest of it is like the same as I started out with it. So this is her original design that I had before. The crop top's a bit different. She doesn't have the arm sleeves, and her shorts are, well, shorter. Now, this is Sugar Rush. This is Rainbow Shock's first lieutenant, as Rainbow Shock is the leader of the Mega Masters and the second in command of the Gladiator Masters in general, and also the second strongest. Sugar Rush's power is one of the very few that is a rather odd power, and one of the very few powers that are based on food, being candy, if you can call candy food. And she is, well, more of a kind-hearted character. Also quite the looker, but not as much as Rainbow Shock. She is, yes, and if you notice, she is actually inspired by Pinkie Pie. All of the Mega Masters were originally My Little Pony characters, but not anymore. They're all my own design characters. If you actually if I actually didn't tell you that, you'd probably think that Sugar Rush didn't have anything to do with My Little Pony at all, except for the fact that she likes candy. Like one of her signature weapon is a scythe made out of a candy cane. Then we move on to the next. Oh, this is actually Sugar Rush's original design, which I got the idea from the Pokemon Elite Four member Malva from Generation 6. And yeah, you can see why I changed it to look more, her style. Malva's a bit too edgy for her style. Now we move on to Twilight Sparkle's redesign, or as her new name is, Stardust. And Stardust is similar to Twilight, but she doesn't have magic powers. Instead, she controls space. Yeah, it's weird. Most of her attacks have to do with stars or asteroids, and she's a space dragon. She doesn't have her wings, but her wings are kind of shaped like butterfly wings instead of like regular wings. And she kind of like hovers around instead of flapping her wings like a regular dragon would. If I could, I would show you a picture of her with her wings, but I don't have one at the moment to show you. So next we move on to, and this is one of my friends in real life. This is Telekineta, and she is the third strongest member of the Gladiator Masters and the leader of the Elite Masters. As you can guess from her name, she has manipulation over the mind. Oh, and by the way, Rainbow Shock has manipulation over the sky, meaning everything in the sky, basically everything on the planet, because even if we're standing on the ground, we're still in the sky, giving Rainbow Shock complete control of it. So Telekineta is, she's more boyish than girl, but she still accepts the fact that she's a girl. She's got a bit of a temper on her, and she acts like the big sister whenever Speed Fury's not around. She's kind of the one who keeps all the other members in check. And her being like the only female on her team and being the leader is tough, especially when a lot of the guys are complete dunderheads and dense as heck, like anime protagonist dense. Now here we move on to the fifth strongest member of the Gladiator Masters, and also the fifth of the main characters, the main cast, being Speed Fury, Rainbow Shock, Telekineta, one character I haven't shown yet, but he's there, and Cross, which is this. This is Cross Frost. And as you can guess from her shirt, yeah, her power is pastries. And if you haven't guessed already, she is Derpy Hooves. She was Derpy Hooves. And originally, her name was going to be Crazy Eyes, but that didn't have anything to do with her abilities. So I changed it to Crossfrost. And the reason for her name being Crazy Eyes is because she had a special disability, but she had control over it. This disability gave her the power to look at two people at once, which is a huge advantage on the battlefield. Her signature weapon is actually a giant buster sword that's hooked at the end on both sides. So it's quite painful when it's hit, when you get hit with it. I changed her skin color from gray to green. Well, actually, it's purple. I accidentally reversed the colors on this drawing, because like her hair is supposed to be green and her skin's supposed to be purple. And she looks up to Rainbow Shock. Not too much though. She's supposed to be the more innocent member of the five main characters, to where she is she's kind of oblivious to a lot of the naughty things that some of the other Gladiator Masters know about. She's part Pegasus as well, as you can see. She's also dating the fourth main character, who I'll probably have to make a separate video on. By the way, that fourth main character has his own YouTube channel. It's called 10-Minute Melon. I would recommend you watch it. He does remixes and stuff. He's really good at it. Also, don't tell him I sent you if you do go check it out, because I don't want to take credit for that. Just tell him that you came on your own. If he just wonders about all the subscribers he all of a sudden gets, if he does get that. So you can see that even her clothing design is actually inspired by Rainbow Shock's design, except she has like little sleeves that hang off the sides of her shoulders, and then she has like the second tank top that she wears underneath her shirt. And yes, her eyes are huge, like ridiculously huge, like bigger than Sugar Rush is huge. Now we move on to a character that's supposed to be like the annoying character in the series, and this picture of her does not have wings. Neither do the next two of the next two characters. So this character is always trying to get Speed Fury and Rainbow Shock to break up because she wants Speed Fury for herself, but Speed Fury is not interested, mostly because of the fact that she's really annoying. However, some people might disagree. This is Elisa, the leader, the second in command of the Dragon Elites. There's two different dragon teams in the Gladiator Masters that consist of only dragons, being the Dragon Masters and the Dragon Elites. The Dragon Elites mostly can't fly. There's two exceptions, being the leader and her, and she's an electric dragon. And yes, as you can see, Elisa is partially inspired by the Pokemon character Elisa, as you can see from her shirt right here. But if you look down here, you can see a little Easter egg at another Pokemon character, and up here as well. Now, I'm not gonna tell you who that is, but I'll tell you this: anyone who plays the ORAS Pokemon games knows who I'm talking about. But Elisa has white pupils to reference the fact that the inside of her body is surging with electricity. She has golden skin, that's kind of obvious. She's also French Canadian, which is the real reason why she doesn't give up, because she's French and she just thinks that she gets whatever she wants. But she doesn't really have the accent. She knows that she's French Canadian, but she doesn't attempt to make an accent for it because she knows that, well, she was born in America. So yeah, that's Elisa pretty much. And now we move on to the next two characters, or the last two characters, and I'm going to do both of them at the same time because they're sisters. This is Shard and Toxica. They're not twin sisters, but they do look similar. They actually do exist in real life. They're two of my well, I guess one of my friends and her sister in real life. Now, this one would be the one who's my friend. I'm not going to tell you her real name because, for safety reasons. But in real life, she's always been there for me. She's one of the people I can actually still call my friend that I had in high school, if I could have very many friends. Because she was always there for me. She actually attempted to talk to me, even when I didn't want to talk to anyone else at the time, because, I don't like talking to people. I'm surprised that I'm even talking this much right now. And her power is ice, as you can tell. She's an ice dragon. I forgot to draw her wings, but her wings are actually uniquely shaped, just like Stardust's are. They look more like Pegasus wings, but then they have like the flaps that dragons have between each feather. So yeah, that's pretty much her, and they have similar outfits. So this is Toxica. Now the reason I say that the real life version of Shard is my friend, but Toxica is just the sister, is because I didn't really get along with her real life counterpart in real life, like at all. She was rather rude towards me, and she was kind of uptight and treated me with a lot of disrespect, and so she got a lot of it back. And so, fitting as it is, I gave her character the ability of poison and still kept that diva personality that she had. That tail that she has is completely poisonous. She stabs you with that, and you're dead immediately. And as you can see, I also added like holes in between like the flaps on her like side horns to make it show that to prove the poisonous part. And yeah, they have similar hairstyles, but hers is more jagged because of the ice, and then hers is like smooth and everything. And they've got like the similar outfits. She has like the stockings instead, and she doesn't. Their clothing design and front hairstyle are actually based off of the another Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire Pokemon character. Um, Same with their clothing design. That's also based off of it. I'm not going to tell you who that is either. You're going to have to go play the games for yourself to figure out who I'm talking about, specifically Omega Ruby, if you want to see the character. Because the only way to see the character in Alpha Sapphire is by playing to the very end. But anyway, here's these two. And of course, just like in real life, Speed Fury does not get along with this character. But he does put her in her place several times, him being the leader and everything, and being the strongest. To this character, she only really cares about, just doing regular stuff. As she still thinks that she can be a human, but she can't, not anymore. She's got a job to do, and she doesn't want to accept that job. Speed Fury is trying to push her into doing that job because she was chosen for a reason. And despite the fact that Speed Fury believes that she was incorrectly chosen, he knows that she had to have been chosen for a reason, even if she doesn't seem to act like it. Now, Shard was definitely excited to be a superhero when she got news. She was recruited before her sister, and she was recruited by Speed Fury himself. Now, I'm not going to go into detail. I actually have a storyline I actually have a book that I'm writing for all this right now. But this is going to be one of my favorite things to ever do when it comes down to this. Now, those demons I showed you earlier aren't actually part of any teams. They're kind of like part of their own faction, being on the demon side. And there's like tons of characters that I've made over time. Like even Speed Fury went through like multiple name changes, like first being Speed Demon, then Speed Strike, and then finally Speed Fury. And before any of you say anything, no, I'm not a furry. There's a difference between a furry and a demi-human, and Speed Fury looks like a demi-human. I know I said this in my earlier video today, but I cannot stress this enough. I'm not a furry. I don't want to be a furry. That's not something I'm interested in doing. I don't have any disrespect towards anyone who is a furry because they like what they like. I'm not gonna say that it's dumb or stupid because to them it's not. But I'm not a furry. And for anyone who in the comments says I'm spelling Fury wrong, no. Fury is spelled with one R, furry is spelled with two. So, I get that a lot. You have no idea how many times on Fortnite I've had people call me Speed Furry because they don't know how to pronounce words. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and some previews of my characters. I'll try and get a few pictures of my other character. I'll tell you right now, he's not a Pegasus or a Dragon or an Alicorn like the other characters I showed you. He's the unique member of the group, and the one who suffered the most, even if he thinks that he's, well, the one winning. I'll tell you his story and why he looks the way he does currently, and yeah, it's kind of scary and brutal and funny at the same time. But yeah. So anyway, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Let me know if there's like certain characters you want me to draw or video games you want me to play. Don't bother asking about the Xboxes; those are both busted. The Wii U, that works just fine. The gamepad's a bit funky. That Wii right there works for the most part. I have those speakers, but I don't use them that much. There's my Switch up there. I've got a lot of Wii games for some right there. Yeah, you've already seen the thing I keep my camera on when I'm uploading, like, because the screen of the TV is, like, super high. It annoys the heck out of me. And yes, I am watching a VR chat video right now, so I had to turn that off because I didn't want to get copyrighted for anything, or pause it. And, there's my Skylanders, or some of them at least. Wait, that is right, yeah, that's right. And then some of the other ones are over there with my Transformers. There's my homemade Transformer that I made. There's a bunch of weapons that I've made too. Oh yeah, that's right, I did need to show you guys something too. It was involving my Speed Fury character, and I never got around to showing you guys because of the fact that, well, I forgot. I have a bad reputation for doing that. So, I told you that Speed Fury's sword was pretty big. So I actually made the sword. I'm gonna have to... One second. So here's the handle. And there's the rest of the sword. The sword's bigger than me. Just by a little bit, but it's bigger than me. I think. I can't really tell most of the time. But I made this using one stick and like a bunch of cardboard. Then I like colored the whole thing with a Sharpie. Unfortunately, I also like did like the blue on it to match Speed Fury's color scheme for his armor, which is it's supposed to do. Um, yeah. So that is pretty much all I needed to show you. And I don't plan on wearing my helmet ever again in my videos because the red visor kind of gets in the way, and I can't really see what I'm doing when I'm playing games. But if you ever want me to wear the helmet for once, I can. Anyway, hope you liked the video, and see ya.